So, landing punches, phase two, intro to striking. We're transitioning from the actual punch form, so learning how to throw punches, how to throw kicks, how to stand, and how to defend, to actually how to land punches, how to land kicks, and how to stand. The first thing I want to go over is I want to go over how to actually land punches when you're going from the bag or pads to an actual over identifying your safe zone and where you should be when you're throwing kicks. When you first learn how to throw punches, most people don't get the most out of it. So most people, when you first start to throw punches, you'll be like right in range or a little bit closer than range. You'll throw your punch, your arm won't be fully extended. You didn't rotate your body into it. And in other words, you didn't complete it. This is like 80% complete of a jab where I can actually push this out, turn this shoulder back, and get on this toe to fully complete it. So a lot of people, when I first learned, okay, what is a jab? This is a jab for most people, but it's not actually a jab. It's like 80% of a jab. An actual jab is all the way out, all the way back. Same thing happens with your cross. So a lot of people learn that a cross, again, if I'm in my stance, is just here, extending this arm out. I'm picking up this foot ever so slightly because, just driving the punch forward, but it's still only 80%. So like here is only 80% of my punch, 80% of my arm power, 80% of my distance. I can actually turn that shoulder out and over accentuate the leg. Now, what I want to emphasize about this is if I punch like this and this was my target, I would never reach them. So again, if I'm trying to land a punch, I actually have two options. Either I punch through this person or I step past them so that my punches are at a different landing angle. So what we're just talking about was proper punch form and the fact that you have four levels of punches. You have your outside of range, you have your in range, you have a partial punch, and then a full punch. And if I'm using this as a metric, this is my range for like when I can actually punch someone. If I was outside of range, I would have to step into range, land that punch, and then I can either stay in range or step back out. But the point would be, if I'm stepping in the range, two things happen, right? So when I step in, I'm going to land my punch right where I'm at, and I'm also carrying my body weight forward, so like I don't have to make the punch too hard. If I'm shooting forward in this motion, my power is coming from that. So all I need to do is release the arm of the punch. If I was in place though and I need to generate that same power, I need to extend through my target. So again, when I learn how to punch, if I just extend my arm out right here and stop, that is not necessarily a punch. It is definitely useful in like sparring to, just pepper someone with a jab. But if this is someone's head, I throw a jab and it stops here. That's not actually a jab. A jab would stop here. If you look at my feet, look at my shoulders, I'm here. I'm gonna rotate out and then turn out. And that's the full extension of that jab. So the full jab is here. I don't want to end up in this position pretty much ever. Like if a screenshot happened, I was in a fight, you don't want to see me here, but the end of it was here. Like if I'm jabbing, you keep coming forward, I might have to really jab you, and that's going to get you back because this a proper punch with the proper power, with the proper force. And if you try to walk through that, you wouldn't be able to, provided we're the same size. Same thing with a cross, right? So I can land a cross and not over accentuate that back leg, but the same thing's applying. Like if this was someone's face, the ring side, I'm only like grazing their nose with this punch and I'm not doing a lot of damage. I can like make their nose bleed, but they could literally, like, if I keep doing this, they could walk through that, hit me a lot harder, and I would be the one losing that exchange. So when it comes to this punch here, this is only part of it. The rest of it is turning your shoulder and extending and rotating that foot. So remember, like if I'm in a fight, yeah, I might be 1-2 and I might be 1-2 and when it's time to end the fight, I'm gonna rotate all the way through. And yes, this is a little bit exaggeration, but it's also not. Like if you watch knockouts, when someone actually knocks someone out, they will turn all the way over, or they'll even pick that foot up off the ground. And it's not about proper form or not proper form. It's about generating the most power as possible. Like sometimes if we've been fighting and I see an opening right here, I just gotta go for it. and I go for it, and I make sure I extend all the way through. Same thing happens with hooks. Like if I'm throwing hooks, boom, this is a hook. Well, this is a hook, but this is me stopping. If I was throwing a hook and I just stop right here, when you throw a punch, you're gonna want to punch them, push all the way through. So with that hook, if I stop here, I'm losing a little bit. That's like 80%. I want to get 100, 100. I can be peppering, 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 peppering. But the moment I want to finish the fight, boom, 100, 100, 100, 100. Now, I don't want to overcomplicate this, but I do want to conclude it with saying there's a reason that defense encounters exist. So these positions that we're talking about, 100% fully extended, could also be considered overextended. Like it's either fully extended, or let's say when you pick up your foot that's overextended, you need a plan B. You need an exit strategy. So again, if I do this, I can't stay here. I'm going to like roll out. If I do this, I'm going to step out. If I do this, I'm gonna roll. This, I'm gonna roll. And again, there's more details to it, but I do want you to understand the fight might not end just because you threw your hardest punch ever. You do need a plan to get out of there and a plan to follow back up. You have your zones. That's why the zones exist. Like I can land that and get off to my rear side angle. I can land that, get off to my lead side angle. I can land that, get backwards, and just make sure I'm protected. I have options. But again, landing a punch with full rotation or full extension is a thing. It has a purpose. It's definitely not something you would use all the time, but it's something you want to know how to do and when to do it. So let's talk about being in range, too close, and then out of range. So out of range is where I can hit, my opponent. My opponent can't hit me, and I'm fairly safe. If I take one more step, then I'm in range. So this would be like punch in range. You can throw, any punch, any kick from here. Outside of range, you could technically get a kick off. You would just have to step forward first. But you take one more step, and you would be in like the danger zone. So identify I'm safe, I'm not safe. I'm in a fighting zone and I'm entirely too close and I need to get out of there. If I want to throw a combo or throw a strike, I want to start where I can't be hit, step into that zone where I can be, land my punches, and then step back out where I can't be. There's times where you want to enter here, but anytime you get this close, you're going to want like defensive maneuvers such as slips, rolls, hand fighting, and different things like that. So if I go closer, one, two. When I get this close, I'm gonna wanna roll. Or I'm gonna wanna roll. I can also slip. So the closer I get from here, I still wanna land. Slip, slip, roll, roll. But I don't wanna keep walking forward, taking punches and landing punches at the same time. I wanna have a little bit of zigzag and a little bit of variability of whether I'm coming down the center, coming down the right, or I'm coming down the left. All right. If I wanted to land punches or land a combo, what I want to have is a plan. There's a couple plans you can have. You can move in and you can move out. You can move into your lead side or you can move into your rear side. Or you can move in and exit to your lead or move in and exit to your rear. Now, generally, we talked about our levels. You have the same levels whether you're center to your rear to your lead. It's just about how you take them. So if I come in through the middle, I can exit out to the right or rear and then back up. And I can re-enter in the rear, come through the middle, head over to the lead, exit from the lead, enter from the lead, go to the middle, return to the lead, and then exit back out. Um, when you're going to your lead, it's called an L step. When you're going to your rear, it's called an angle step. There's more exits than just those two. Those are the basic ones. Like if I want to go to my lead side. I take a step with my left foot, bring my right foot over, and it's like drawing that L. So coming forward, coming lateral, and that L shape. I'm going to the rear side. Right foot steps first, left foot comes over, and then it's the opposite of an L, whatever letter that would be. So L here, and then reverse L on the other side.
You've given them everything.
Not everything. Not yet.
We get stronger every day.